yesterday from my oldest daughter, who's a senior at Carleton College this year, who attended a similar event with Annie and myself a few years ago when we were at Berkeley. And she came up with a nickname for me that has stuck ever since, which is VFS. That stands for Vaguely Famous Sidekick. She texted me yesterday before we began at Harvard that the VFSs shouldn't speak too much.
I want to begin the conversation by asking you the question that you have answered many times, and then you answered this yesterday at Harvard, but I want to ask this again for this audience. You two have worked together on 11 films, yeah, is that right? And that's the time span of 22 years. It's a sort of legendary collaboration. And I'd like to know how this legendary collaboration began. What was the factor that you two want to work together and sustain this long-time professional relationship?
Well, I met James in 1990. I got a small sum of money from Taiwan's government to make my first movie, Pushing Hands. I didn't know 400,000 I can make a movie in New York or not. Just through a mutual friend of ours, I met James, his partner, Ted Toll. They have a small company, 2 tables, in Topeka area, for food machine, which is, I would say, precursor of Focus. So we pitched to each other. I pitched the movie, for the sets, the words pitched. But that's a filmmaker's pitch. And they pitched themselves to me as the king of no-budget filmmaking. This is not low budget, no budget. Your money, luxury funds. We teach filmmakers to make movies they can afford instead of developing hell to do nothing, which was my life for the 36 years. So that was very touching to me. I just hope these two are not close. How many taxpayers' money, I don't want to lose them. But over the years, to make long story short, James lived up to what they did. They teach filmmakers to make movies they can afford. However it happened. Over the years, my script is touch up, my English is improved, my information needs to be enlarged. You'll fill in. If they need to sell a movie, James will go out, pretend to salesman, eventually become a good salesman. If I need a producer, if I need, he'll start an entourage like Sensibility, and ends up in producing a movie. Walk his way and ends up to be a great producer. To the time actually set up Focus, is actually across the table. Buy properties, he financed the movie, and produce it in a way I did. However, I mean, I go to Wesley, should I wear a tie, or James, what do you think? What shirt I should wear?
No logos.
What have I need? So I actually never thought, well, sometimes even absence is a help. Like Brokeback Mountain, I was And I hope those of you